Hey lovely, if you've landed here, I want you to know this isn't just another mindset guide or something a little bit out there. This is something that I've just created from my personal lived experience. So I've put it together with intention, not as a solution for everything, but just as a starting point. A few simple shifts that helped me when I needed to reconnect with myself. And my hope is that it might help you too. As women, it's so easy to fall into the trap of burnout and overwhelm. And when that compounds with trauma, workplace pressure, or the weight of motherhood, we can end up battling anxiety, depression, and even PTSD. I've lived that survival mode with all of those. I know what it feels like to just get through each day. But hear me when I say this, you are not broken. This isn't about fixing you, it's about remembering you. One thing I wish someone had told me back then, and what I want you to hear right now is this. Doing something for you is not selfish, it's necessary. When you choose yourself, you don't take away from your family. You show up better because of them and for them. Your kids, your work, your relationships, they all benefit when you are cared for too. And that comes from you caring for yourself first. So if no one's told you yet today, choosing you is powerful. And you're allowed to. Now, this note is just a little letter of a heart and intent. And this guide is a gift from me to you. Not because I have it all figured out, I definitely don't. But I have walked through the fog, the numbness, and the overfunctioning, as I've shared. I've been where you might be right now, disappearing inside the roles that we carry and slowly losing yourself in the process. But I also know the power of one small spark. One moment of truth and one shift in perspective, one act of intention that can light a fire inside you. If this guide can offer even a flicker of that spark, then I'll know that it did what it was meant to do. And I truly hope something in here helps you begin to remember the woman you are and that you're made for more. Now, it's so easy to spend all of our energy doing everything for everyone else, and quite often we do, and we forget to check in with ourselves. We just keep going until there's nothing left to give. This shift, it's about pausing, not with guilt, but with grace. When I was in the depth of my depression, one of the most powerful things my psychologist said to me was, don't underestimate the power of 5 minutes intentionally for you. And it took a long time to really grasp what that meant, but intentionally for me. It doesn't have to be fancy. You don't need a full hour, a spa day, or even a retreat. You just need one moment where you choose you on purpose. That could look like walking around the block, standing outside barefoot in the sunshine, or just sitting quietly with a cup of tea. What matters is that it's intentional for you. I remember knowing I needed to be more active, not just for physical health, but for my mental health too. But I still kept putting it off because I was overwhelmed and exhausted. Maybe you've been there too. Maybe you're in that place right now. A few gold nuggets that I was given from between my exercise physiologist and a psychologist that I saw at the time I was in that place that really helped me shift things were simple things like parking further away from the shop entrance. Now it sounds funny, but just doing the grocery shopping, and if I parked a little bit further away, I just had to walk those extra few steps. And that was an intentional choice and action to park further away, so I would have to then physically move my body more. And I did that for me, not for anything else. So it's simple little things, not taking shortcuts. So setting a timer before bed and walking on the spot for 5 minutes if you haven't even gotten out of the door that day, that can be a simple thing. Like if you know that you kept putting off going for your walk and you're about to go to bed and you go, oh no, I didn't go for a walk, I'll go tomorrow. No, stop, put the timer on your phone for 5 minutes and just walk on the spot. I know it sounds silly, but the fact is it's that intentional habit to make it for you. Now, playing a couple of songs and moving my body just to break the inertia, that's a really good thing too. I know it takes a little bit to get going, but once you do, you'll be grateful. It may sound small, and honestly it is, but that's the point. Small, consistent, intentional movements equal big shifts over time. This is where it starts, not with hustle, but with one gentle decision to care for yourself today and consistently do it every day, even if it's just micro steps. Now, choose compassion over criticism. Most of us are our own harshest critics. We tell ourselves lies we'd never say to anyone else. Things like, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve better, this is just how it is. So we actually end up making excuses too. But I want you to hear this. When I started choosing compassion, even in the mess, everything softened. And I'm talking about compassion for yourself. I began to acknowledge my worth, even when it felt like no one around me saw it. I knew I was a good mum. I knew I had a good heart. I knew I was a good wife, but I longed to be better. I longed for better. But I was buried in burnout and I didn't know how to shift or even rise above that. So this isn't about sugarcoating reality. It's about speaking to yourself like someone who is deeply loved. As a Christian, I know that I'm loved by God, and I believe He held me and carried me through the seasons where I felt completely lost and life felt uncertain and at times even hopeless. But there are moments that I felt like I was failing, not just myself, but I was failing my kids. Not because I wasn't keeping up with my responsibilities. Yeah, I was ticking off the lists, doing what I had to do, but because I wasn't showing them what it looks like to live a fruitful, joyful life as an adult, and that I was just surviving, but I wasn't living, and I wasn't living abundantly in joy, and there was no spark, no zest. And what did they have to look forward to? Because I was so busy pouring into everything into everyone else and nothing into myself, and in doing that I was failing myself and unintentionally failing to model a life worth growing into. Something that helped shift that for me was affirmations. I'll be honest, that felt weird at first, awkward even. It was a little bit weird. But they became small, powerful tools because each one planted a seed of belief, of healing, and of hope. One simple phrase I'd forgotten since childhood came back to me and stuck. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. It sounds simple, and that's the point. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. Literally saying something like that to yourself each day just brings that mindset into training to really think and start making more choices to be better and better. So be kind to yourself, listen to your inner voice, and if it feels like it's on mute, start speaking it to it yourself. And if you need help with that, reach out, because I'd love to support you. And now we talk a little bit more into taking aligned micro movements. So I talked about micro actions before, and this one's big. I don't mean complicated, I mean powerful. Because massive change often starts with micro movements, tiny intentional choices we make on purpose. We often wait for clarity, energy, or motivation to begin. But honestly, the shift starts with movement, not just physical, but mental, emotional, spiritual movement, aligned movement, intentional movement, movement in your thoughts, in your patterns, and in your posture. It could be listening to a podcast instead of background noise. It could be choosing to take notes on something that inspired you instead of scrolling past it. It could be setting your environment up to support who you're becoming. For me, it was small, intentional choices like swapping Netflix for podcasts when I did the household chores. I remember when I was in my depression, I just wanted to switch the brain off. I literally would walk around like a zombie just with Netflix or something to stop my brain from thinking. But if we're thinking and fueling our brain with the right stuff, then that's a win-win, and it's even better. So it was leaving a notebook open sometimes while I was cleaning, so that if a truth hit me, I could write it down. Now, just having the notebook and the pen sitting on the table when I'm walking around the house doing stuff made a huge difference. It was small, but it started to shift everything. So let this be your invitation. Choose one thing this week to begin practicing. Just one. For example, peace. It might look like sitting in the car after school drop-off and listening to a 5-minute breathing meditation, which you can pull up on Spotify or YouTube, or if you've got an app. Courage. Courage could be showing up in ways like picking up the phone and reconnecting with someone you've been meaning to call and putting off because conversations just feel hard. You know, I know how much I became a recluse and stopped talking to people, and I get it. It's not that you didn't care, you just didn't have the energy. But it's amazing when you actually do start connecting and just having conversations, how much better you do just start feeling and how much more human you become too. Especially when we're busy mums. So that's a few things. Joy is another one. Joy might be dancing in the kitchen with the kids or just being silly. Clarity can also be journaling, really honestly on a page, or it could just be simply going out in nature, just stopping and look at for 5 minutes, having some deep breaths and carrying on with your day, just grounding yourself and your brain. It's amazing the difference it makes. And freedom might be saying no to something that drains you in order to say more yeses to things that are going to fill you. Now, it doesn't have to be all of them. Just pick one word. Let that word guide you this week, and let intention and compassion begin reshaping the story you tell yourself. Because consistency in micro movements builds momentum, and momentum builds belief. You don't need to be a master plan. Just one brave step. Now, reclaiming me. This page is for you. It's not to fix, it's not to force, but simply to reconnect. I think that the best way to do this is to get a pen and paper and actually sit down and write these down. Let these prompts speak to your heart. Write what's true, what's hard, what's holy, what's aligned, and what you deeply desire, not what you think you should want. This isn't about having all the answers. It's about coming home to the questions you've been too overwhelmed, too busy, or too scared to ask, and finally allowing yourself to listen. And if you're a woman of faith, I invite you to lean into God here in this space too. Ask Him to show you what you can't yet see. Let His voice become louder than your fear. Because you are safe here, you're allowed to focus on you right here and right now. And action will always cure fear. Because I promise you, when you start doing that, every little action, every little choice, every little decision with intention, you'll not only feel more whole, you'll show up better for the people who love you too, and in turn, you will start getting your spark and zest back. I trust that something in this guide gave you exactly what you didn't know you needed today. A permission slip, a moment of pause, and a reminder that you matter too. These simple shifts didn't change my life overnight, but over time, through grace, repetition, and intentional healing, they helped me come back to myself. If you're craving more support, more tools, or just real soulful conversation like this, you're always welcome in my world, and I'd love to connect and keep walking alongside you. Big love, guys. Ez.